It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chasing Big Joe, Friday edition, 1025, 1063, the game. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. We made it to Friday. Always exciting. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier with you as well. Jojo, what's up? How are you?
Hey, thank you for not calling it Fry-yay. I always want to dump coffee on somebody who says that.
I've never done that.
I know. That's why I said thank you for not doing that. Like Fry-yay.
Yeah.
No, man, it's just Friday within itself is awesome. So just like it's Friday. It just feels good saying that.
Right. It's Friday. That's what it is. And it's an exciting day for sure because you know you're going to get a few days off from work. A lot of people will. Some people won't. I mean, some people the weekend's just as busy as the rest of the week, but it's certainly nice. That's for sure.
It is, pal. And shout out last night. I got to go out last night and catch the Green Hill Mount Juliet game. Green Hill won 12-10. Driving rainstorm, packed house. And the fans turned out last night. Got to talk to a lot of people out there last night at Green Hill High School. It's always good to see and talk to people who listen to the show. So it was really cool out there last night. Green Hill won 12-10, so they captured the region championship. And they'll play the home game next week versus Blackman. I think Oakland beat Riverdale last night too as well. And there's still a bunch of games tonight. Chaser, Ravenwood and Brentwood is tonight. So it's going to be a nice, cool night. Get out and support your teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is and I know you're gonna, talk about this a little bit more later on in the show, but it's a big week for a lot of kids.
It is.
Because it's a lot of these young men that have put years into this will put the pads on and the helmet on for the last time. So it's special in many ways. It's a lot of emotions for sure.
It is. So 9:45, I've requested the floor for just 5 minutes to talk about that. It's very important to me. So at 9:45, set your clocks. I mean, wake the kids, phone the neighbors, do what you got to do for this at 9:45 today.
We will make sure that that happens. Michelle Kennedy, the president of the Nashville Predators, will join us at 9:30, and Chris Sanders at 10 o'clock today. I know you're going to only be on for the first hour because you got to head to El Paso with the Blue Raiders. So
absolutely,
you guys will be leaving out. That's going to be a fun trip for you to go to the Sun Bowl.
I've been by there. I've never been called a game from the Sun Bowl. So we will do it tomorrow starting at 1 o'clock on Totally Hits 93.3. You can catch us there.
Totally Hits, totally Nashville, totally Big Joe.
Oh yeah, all the way, man.
I think that needs to be
no, not at all.
Whenever you're on, that's going to be how we refer to it.
I'm 1% of that team, and I'm the bottom 1%. Chip Walters does a fantastic job, and it's a thing I tell people all the time. It's like, I would like work with Chip. His dedication, his commitment, and his preparation is unbelievable. And I don't think I don't think I could ever do that. I mean, he is that good in his preparation and all that I don't think I could do that. And this is all, Mike Keith is the same way. Great job. But I don't think I could do that. I mean, there's a lot that he's got to remember. Commercial breaks, station IDs. What's they do at the top of the hour? What's that called?
The legal ID.
Yeah, the legal. I mean, you got to get all that. So there's a lot going on, man. And like, I'm in my head too much. I couldn't do all that. And Chip does just a fantastic job.
He does for sure. So we look forward to the game tomorrow, and hopefully Coach Mason and company can come out of El Paso with a win. Looking at the Titans, Will Levis has been limited this week. There's an article on the Titans website that both he and Mason Rudolph are basically preparing to play the Patriots. What do you think? You think Levis is going to go, or do you think go one more week with Rudolph?
I think the season is awful. It's over, and I think they're going to ride Will Levis. I'd be shocked if Will Levis is not in there on Sunday. Now that they're out of everything, they are the second worst team in football. Awful coaching staff, everything. Just roll them out there and see what we can do under intense pressure with no pressure. If you know what that means. I mean, all the pressure of but really there's no pressure to go out there and just perform. Nobody's expecting you to do anything. So go. We've seen Mason Rudolph. Just go out there and do your thing. Whoever that is.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And here's the other thing. If you look at the injury report, Tyler Boyd has not practiced this week. Neither has Amani Hooker, Tony Pollard, Dylan Radence. Ridley was a full practice yesterday. Wow. Jeffrey Simmons was a full practice yesterday. Snead hadn't practiced. Sweat hasn't practiced. Trey Avery did not practice yesterday. Levis is limited, and
you doing Sunday?
not that.
God, I would pay. Would you not, Dr. Crane, pay top dollar to see Chase go in for one series at tailback? Just one series.
He could do it.
I mean,
I do one series if they're going to pay me enough.
But you got to carry the ball all three. It'd be like two jet sweeps and it's like a power up the 2-hole, man. I got to see you do that.
The lower man wins, Chase. Lower man
what would
wins.
you do if I got a first down and then all of a sudden I look up and I tap out?
Yeah, what if you get like exactly a 22-yard run on the first one and then you get them down the field? I would watch that. I would watch the NFL more if you put in one average guy to run like 2 plays and they don't count.
The NFL feel like a player program where one average fan gets one series with their favorite team presented by.
You would get launched into the Cumberland River and I would be there for every second. I'd fish you out of the river. That's how Dr. Crane and I would get a boat and get you out of the river. That's how good friends we are. But that'd be so much fun to see that. Because, they talk about that with the Olympics. It's like these Olympic athletes, but show us how difficult it is by having an average person we talk about this pole jump or pole vault, whatever, high jump, or run the 100 meter. Show an average person doing that and how good these athletes are. So this would be the same thing with you, Chase.
Oh, that would be so funny. Because here's what I think would happen. My adrenaline would be through the roof, to start the game. I'd be nervous too, but my adrenaline would be through the roof. So like maybe the first play, I would do something, and the line, maybe the line's feeling good about it and everything. But I'm definitely running left if I do it. I'm going behind big JC Latham.
I didn't think about that. That'd be a smart move right there to do that. Yes. Oh man.
Callahan calls the play. It's like go right. Like nope, not doing that. 615-737-1025. Dustin in Hopkinsville says, I would do it just for experience. I need a week of getting hit hard, so I can at least look halfway tough out there.
I bet there'd be so many people would sign up for that. I would. I would do that to go out there and run 2 or 3 plays, like a fantasy camp or something. That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Why not?
I blasted, but who cares?
Oh, sure. And like on the other side, whether it's the D line or a DB, and like what I think would happen to me is a DB would just come off the corner and just blow me up.
Well, I told you
they want to.
Well, I told you the worst injury I ever suffered in football was in junior college. I cracked my sternum on it was a crack. They're illegal now, but it was a crackback. So I didn't turn my head, and the receiver, a big receiver, planted his helmet in between my chest plates and my shoulder pads. And I literally thought I was going to die because I collapsed and I couldn't breathe. And I remember the referee came over. He's like, you okay? And I was like, I need you to hold my hand. I think I'm going to die. And it was awful. It was the worst injury. So you talk about a DB coming back to peel out on you and knock you down. It's awful. It's awful. And thank God they outlawed that play. You can't hit with that kind of angle anymore, but man, if you've never been hit, like, when LeBron was running his mouth about playing in the NFL, I'm like, please go to the NFL and do this. Because I would love to see a guy like Blaine Bishop back in the day knock your block off.
Oh, God.
Blaine would have decapitated LeBron James. I'm not kidding. He hit people that hard.
Oh, yeah. Look, and that would be my big concern would be having to deal with, somebody like Blaine back in the day, or some of these guys now that like a Bernard Pollard, somebody like that just hits like and they've definitely softened it up a little bit with how that can go, but guys are still going to get their hits in, so it would be an interesting move. You see me carted off like with a thumbs.
Yeah. I would
That's
laugh.
exactly
I'm
what
sorry. Would happen. It's nothing personal. I'd laugh though.
Oh yeah, no, I know. You'd be the first one there to check on me, but you'd be laughing the whole time. So that's okay.
Time. That's right. buddies.
615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. We're up and running here on a Friday. What is kind of your view of this game? If people just checked out and just said, hey, I know the Titans are playing, but let's just see. I feel like more people might enjoy our show than Titans games, but that's kind of what it is right now. Has apathy truly set in? 615-737-1025. It's the Chase and Big Joe show, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love with a Mexican girl.
It's appropriate for Big Joe.
Nighttime would find me in Rose's Cantina.
I didn't even think about that. Nice job, Dr. Crane. Well done.
I gotta say, I am very proud of Dr. Crane because he's just kind of learned when to sneak some things in there, like
Right.
with the ear candy. Tremendous job for sure.
Man.
I learned
a
from
Big
the
Joe.
best.
Chase, I bet your dad knew Marty Robbins back in the day because he was so around Nashville in the 70s and 80s. Marty Robbins.
Probably, I know his picture was up at Loveless.
Yeah. He rode the Nashville Fairground Speedway for many, many, many years.
Yeah. So he was around. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3. The game here on this Friday. Some of you have weighed in on how I would do if I got a series for the Tennessee Titans. Cam says, first of all, Chase couldn't make it all 4 downs, let alone a whole series. Secondly, the NFL already allows casual fans to play CC Joe Flacco. LOL. Happy Friday, boys. Happy Friday, boys.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It'd be great. Oh, my God, Chase, I would love to see just you come out. What number would you wear first off?
If 3 was available, I'd probably wear 3.
No, you can pick any number you want.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, this would be so good.
Yeah, I wear 3, or I like 3 for the Dales.
Okay, that's fine.
Earnhardt Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. Yeah, good one on that. Yeah, but I would love to. I mean, just single wing. It would be even better if you come out looking like Johnny Majors in 1956. Leather helmet, just single wing. Take it to the left side. I know you're going that way. And all of a sudden you turn the corner and there is, that's a problem. I think you do okay because there's nobody in the National Football League to fear now. There's nobody that you, maybe TJ Watt, maybe.
Yeah.
There's nobody that you fear. There's no Butkus. There's no Jack Lambert. There's no Lawrence Taylor. There's no Blaine Bishop. I mean, those guys are gone. That day of football is gone. And I'm telling you, in the 2011, the lockout season, when they bargained to have easier practices, football changed. Football changed. Pro football changed.
There's no doubt.
And then when
you look at the product today, it's not near as good. It's not. I mean, we watch it, but it's I think that's part of the reason why so many people, kind of like Titans fans, have checked out, just because they're watching. They're just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, prime example. All right, last night about guys that don't care. Who was the guy for the Jets that dropped the football on the half-yard line?
Malachi Corley, Western Kentucky wide receiver.
Cut him. That's awful. It's terrible. Cut him. Why does this keep happening? You know why? Showboating. That's why. 7 on 7. They showboat when they get a first down. It all starts back then. Cut him. Send a message. That's ridiculous that happened last night. Ridiculous.
It's the me league. They're all about me.
How does that happen?
Well, it's the owner's fault. I mean, because they've paid out these contracts. I mean, and as long as the contracts keep getting bigger and bigger, I mean, they're gonna be this way. And not every player is this way, but they're gonna be this way. That's just how it is. Justin says, talking about the Titans, yep, I'm checked out. I am just checked out. I will glance at it, but I'm not wasting my time watching this team when we have zero accountability from anyone, quote, in charge. People can say to be patient, but I'm in the camp of, if you aren't honest with me, then I can't ride with you. That's well said, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you hear Colt, the special teams coordinator yesterday?
Oh, why do they let him talk?
Well, it's required. It's the coordinators, including the special teams coordinator, they all have to talk once a week.
So they take out tackling in practice, but they let the coordinators and people talk. Awful. That was awful, man.
I mean, Colt Anderson gets up there and does his thing, and look, credit to Kuharski, because he went in with a plan. He knew that he was going to ask these questions, and quite frankly, he asked the right questions, and Colt Anderson did not look very strong answering them. But he is still the special teams coordinator, and I mean, I get it. from Brian Callahan's point of view of like, I want to give him a chance to get out of it, but it's like, 7 games this year, pretty much all of them, except for maybe a couple, special teams has looked absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
That's on the coach.
You're right. It's on the coach, and to let them talk, and and then Nick Holtz gets up there and says, "We would have done it." By the way, I wouldn't waste a single. I know we had him to training camp. He's a nice guy. I get all that. He makes no decisions in the game. I don't want to hear from him. I don't want to talk to him. And for him to say we would do the same plays again on the 1 yard line, what are you thinking about? Look, I was in a good mood, ready to go out west and kind of relax, but now I'm upset because you're at the 1 yard line, and to tell us you'll do it again, do you think we're stupid? Do you think we're fans are stupid that you would do that again? It's overthinking football. It's Pete Carroll in the Super Bowl. We try to throw a pass and running the football. Quit trying to be cute. Just line up and mash the guy and try to get a yard. Chase, I truly don't understand this. And a guy that's been around football my entire life, and I love football. Sometimes we get way in over our head and try to be too cute. Just run up and go. As I say all the time, football comes down to 2 things: blocking and tackling. And that's it. That's it. And to hear him get up there and say that they do it again, oh my gosh. Awful.
I don't get it. You're on the 1 yard line.
Right.
Like, just get up on the line and either QB sneak or run it with Pollard. I guarantee you Pollard would have scored.
Oh, there's not a doubt in my mind. You don't have to go up the center's butt. You can go outside the 2, 3, and 4 holes. You can get outside of that. You can do that. You don't have to go right up there where there's 3 guys stacked in the 1 and 2 hole. You don't have to do that. It just drives me crazy. That's why I tell you this, Chase. I'm going to teach my granddaughter about Jesus and not shotgun snaps from the 1 yard line. I'm telling you, man, that is my goal. Jesus and no shotgun snaps from the 1, either going in or going out. It doesn't matter. They're making it too complicated. It's football. That's it.
I don't understand the logic either of why they think, oh, okay, you can get, you have more time, to drop back, get more of a running start. Like, it doesn't add up to me.
Right.
I guess is what I'm saying.
It doesn't. It makes no sense at all. All right.
You know what else doesn't make any sense? This is kind of a random one, but like I pulled up the Titans coaching staff just for, to look something up. There are still people listed here that don't have their picture. Like, what has Perry Carter done to not, deserve having his picture?
Would you want your picture on that website, on that staff? Hell no. My picture would be. My picture would be.
IT and said, "Hey, take it down."
Right. My picture would be Patrick Starfish from SpongeBob. That's the picture I put up there. So at least you'd laugh, like, "Oh God, at least they're having fun with it." That's what I would do, man. Terrible.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, the fan base has pretty much spoken. You know who hasn't spoken? The GM. He hasn't spoken yet. We'll see if he does around the trade deadline, but he hasn't said a word.
Oh,
so,
man, I love it.
And then we get the special teams coach getting up there and just looking like scared to death, sounding scared to death, doing a press conference. Dylan says what Anderson said is bad, but what Holt said about what you just talked about, Joe, throwing it 4 times for the 1 is worse. He should be getting even more heat for saying that.
Oh yes. When I saw Tehran, I wasn't there. I saw Tehran tweeted out, and I watched it. I'm like, it's like, I almost thought it was a skit. I'm like, this is a skit? Are they dressing up for Halloween, doing a skit or something? And to see his conviction, like we would do it again. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
This is a great text from Dustin. I've been checked out. I can deal with being bad, but all the peeing on my leg and calling it rainwater. Nah, don't treat me stupid when I'm smarter than you. Incompetence to the fullest. The Titans aren't even that guy at work that tells these awesome, colorful stories /lies. But they're so good you can't help but listen and laugh.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. See what they've done to us? See
I
what they've
know.
done. Just win games. That's all we ask is just to win games. Hell, be competitive at this point. I said 5-12, and I got a little blowback for that. Wow, with the offense,
You're not getting that.
how
at this
can you
point.
do that? But if you're 5-12, but you're competitive and you're playing your butt off and you're trying, I'm okay with a little bit of that. But no effort, and to hear the coaching staff say that, I mean, is it, I'm thinking, was it like Family Feud? You get Family Feud and you do a really stupid answer and your family's all clapping for you. Like, yeah, Chase, way to go. And they're slapping you on the back and all that. I wonder if when Holtz went back into the coaching room, they're like, great job, Nick, good job. And slapping him and well done. A great answer, great answer, great answer. I just don't get it, man. And there's a lot of things going on. And that added more to the problems yesterday.
David from Watertown says, Pollard is the only offensive production we've had all year, and you don't use him on the goal line. That my thoughts exactly.
And that's why we're upset.
5353 says, preach, Joe. I hate coaches who want to act like they're the greatest play callers. Just get back to basic football.
That's it. Bottom line.
Could you imagine what would happen? Like if this team was like, hey, we're going to go back to basics like we played, on a Friday night and see what happens. I mean, I agree. They need to do that. Just run, throw some, quick passes, what have you, maybe take some shots downfield if you feel like you have it, but none of this exotic stuff that we see too cute. They get way too cute.
But
And that's the problem.
It's not just them. It's a lot of teams try to get too cute, but just run the ball. I mean, like the Ravens aren't getting too cute. Run the ball. The Chiefs, they're cute, but they understand what they're doing and they're not trying to be, look at us. It's like, hey, we're going to score, try to stop us. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, that's just kind of the way the league is gone for sure. Coming up next, Michelle Kennedy going to join us, the president of the Nashville Predators. Rough night in Smashville, but we'll talk about some things coming up at the arena and with the team. We'll do that next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Friday. Shifting gears into a little Predators talk. Tough night in Smashville. 5-1 the final with Edmonton getting the win, but they'll be back at it tomorrow night against the Colorado Avalanche at Bridgestone Arena, and then the LA Kings on Monday night. To talk more about that, we say hello to the president of the Nashville Predators, Michelle Kennedy, who is on the line with us. Michelle, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing all right. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. Obviously, the game did not go the way that everybody had hoped, but that's why they play 82 of them. So got some time to get things going in the right direction. But I'm excited about Monday night. I know we got Saturday night, but Monday night, I saw some advertisements for this last night when I was there. Star Wars night at Bridgestone Arena. That is always fun. I love when Star Wars night happens.
There's always something going on. You know, you look at our last 5 games, we're 3-1-1. The one that is second in that series of numbers last night was not a real fun game to watch. So certainly we have work to do, but the hope is that tomorrow night and Monday and beyond, we get back, we start beefing up that 3 of the 3-1-1 and things get on the right track. But yes, on Monday night, Star Wars night. So one of the fun theme nights that we have, if you purchase a Star Wars ticket package, you'll receive a Star Wars jersey with your ticket. And then we'll also have some Star Wars characters around the arena to engage with. So I hope that you both will be there tomorrow or Monday night to hang out with the Star Wars gang.
Oh yeah, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. I hope I'm allowed to go because I'm a little nervous because I'm just admitting this to you because we're friends. I haven't seen a win this year, so I may need to just stay away. So I may not be there Monday night for Star Wars night if things don't turn around tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we certainly should evaluate that. We don't want any of that blame to be placed on you. So my inclination is to tell you to push through, to realize that it's probably not you who has caused the unfortunate outcomes the days you've been there. And I'd like for you to be there to see us win the next game. So the door is open for you.
Well, I appreciate that. Please tell that to Sean because he might have security waiting for me tomorrow when I walk in. But you know, that's how it is. You guys do such a great job, whether it's a Star Wars night or, a music theme, something like that coming, doing all of these special events that, kind of the game is the main feature, but there's other things going on. What all goes into planning these things?
We do it on a season-long basis. So we have a calendar that pods different interests throughout the year because we understand that we have a diverse group of people who walk in that building. And yes, you're right. The hockey game is the feature, but we also want there to be fun around the game. We want last night was Halloween. It was so fun to see. Maybe the most fun of it last night was seeing people dressed up and just having a good time. So we want every night in Bridgestone Arena, whether it's a hockey game or whether it's a concert, we want it to be a great time. And so we like to build a lot of activity around the hockey game because it's not only what we've come to be known for. We have one of the most energetic arena in all of hockey, but it just makes for a very fun time, and it helps us to continue to lure diverse people back to our arena all the time to not only watch hockey, but to have a whole lot of fun around it.
We're talking to Michelle Kennedy, president of the Nashville Predators. And Michelle, I know I've seen you very active and walking around the arena. How much fun is that? And I also want to ask, Preds fans are fantastic. They have been. I'm one of them. But I always they like sharing things, don't they? I mean, when I've talked to them, they like this and that and all that. But I like the openness that you and Sean do with the Preds and the fans. I think that's very cool because I'm pretty sure this doesn't happen with a lot of fan bases.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we understand that the more diverse the opinions that we hear are and that we operationalize are, the more appealing we're going to be to a broader base of people. Sean and I are cool and fun and all that, but we're a couple middle-aged folks who probably aren't exactly on the cutting edge of everything going on in the world. And so you have to listen to your fans. I mean, that's who we're there for. We're there to help them have a good time. We're there to do things that they find exhilarating and that, maybe they're not things that I've ever done before or would ever even think to do, but those are the folks that we're there for. We are not here as an organization. We are not thriving as an organization without those folks. And so I think it's just short-sighted and frankly bad for business to not listen to them. So yes, we we love it. We have open eyes, open ears. We want to hear what everyone has to say because that makes a better, more fulsome and well-rounded experience.
And that's why I like taking, if somebody's ever been to a Preds game and they want to go and I'm able to go with them, I like seeing that reaction the first time, because when they go to a game, they haven't been to a hockey game, especially in Bridgestone Arena, just the level of excitement within themselves is like, oh, I had no idea this was going on. And they're hooked. I'm telling you, Michelle, they're hooked almost instantly.
Well, that's great to hear. And believe me, we will not change our stance on listening to people and doing things that they want to see and take part of when they're in the arena. Yeah. Joe, by the way, before we go on, I think I've seen on social media some activity that is a special addition to your family recently. Have I read that correctly?
Yeah, thank you. I have a beautiful, praise the Lord, healthy granddaughter. So she will be a Preds fan. Don't worry. She will be.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you for that. Also, I would also like for you to ban Chase from going to the game on Monday. That'd make me happy.
Well, we'll have to have a sidebar conversation about that. I would like for Chase to not take too much of the blame for the slow start we've gotten off to and to be there as we turn it around.
Right. Thank you very much, Michelle. Michelle Kennedy is here with us, the president of the Nashville Predators. And, you know, Joe's granddaughter, when she gets old enough, can play in the Nashville Fun Zone. I actually walked through there not too long ago. You like that? That was a good little segue there. It's pretty cool, Michelle, this new space that you all have.
It is full of energy. Last night it was very Halloween, so it was fun to go in there last night and see the spooky vibes. But yeah, it's a great space. It's where the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame used to be. And down on the main concourse level, down by our meeting rooms, the kids can go in there, or adults can too. There's no age limit. You two both can go in there and do all these fun things. You can play street hockey. You can check out a virtual reality experience. NHL 25, of course, is on video consoles. Nash is in there. Nash himself is in there every game. And I'll tell you, that's been a really fun addition this year. There's tons of energy coming in through there. And while the kids play, we certainly have F&B available for the parents so that they can get themselves hydrated while they watch their kids play between periods or before or after the game.
Very, very cool. Michelle, always enjoy these chats with you. And I will see you tomorrow because I actually have to work the game. I'm filling in for Max. So hopefully it all goes well. We turn this around and then I can go to Star Wars Night on Monday. But thank you so much for doing this.
You are very welcome. I am not afraid. I will embrace you with open arms tomorrow, and we will enjoy beating the Avalanche together.
No doubt about it. Michelle Kennedy joining us here on the program, the president of the Nashville Predators. We always talk to somebody from the front office at 9:30 on Fridays, and the Preds back in action tomorrow night against the Colorado Avalanche, as Michelle said. Coming up next, Joe has a special message because it is a special night. We will do that on the other side. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Dr. Crane with his theme today. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Here on this Friday, officially in November. Hope everybody had a happy and safe Halloween. I know it was a little rainy out there, but I do know a lot of kids that, went and, did some trick-or-treating anyway. But, Joe, I know you are looking forward to those days with your granddaughter coming up here in a few years, but should be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun and special night for a lot of young men around the mid-state. Some had it last night. Others will have it tonight, but the regular season of high school football coming to an end. And I know this is always, a bittersweet day, but something that you always want to talk about.
Well, it is. And, for a lot of these kids tonight, the high school football season's over. If you're a senior, about 97% of you will never put another football helmet on. And you won't go to the playoffs. You won't get the state championship, and it's over. I mean, it's a harsh reality tonight when you take the helmet off that it's over. And so with that, there's a lot of reflection that comes with that, and they'll ask yourself, was it all worth it? And so I wrote this a few years ago, and I just wrote it as a way to kind of clear the air with myself and maybe send it to a few coaching friends. And the story just took off. I mean, it just across the country. I've heard from so many coaches who say, hey, can I share this? Can I borrow it? I'm like, absolutely. Dude, don't give me any credit. Just say you found it and read it. It's not about me. But it's a little thing. So it goes this way. It's like, this is for the high school. And for parents, if you got your kid playing tonight, it's emotional. It's the last one for them. But and my thing is like, you walk in that locker room and getting ready for practice and talking with your buddies while getting dressed. That's worth every single second. Heading out to practice field on a Monday when it's raining and all your buddies are at home, it's worth every single second. Sweating through 2-a-days when the temperature is over 100 degrees and you're not sure you're going to make it, it's worth every single second. Sitting on a hot school bus with zero air coming through, heading to a school for a scrimmage in August, worth every second. Coming back home on that same bus, when you just whip that team that no one thought you could except you and your teammates, it's worth every single second. Getting blocked and put on your butt and vowing that would never happen again, that's worth every single second. Walking off the practice field on a Thursday as you get ready for a big Friday night game, worth every single second. Going to those summer workouts while your friends are at the lake or the pool, it's worth every single second. Walking back in that locker room after a big win at home and all those friends cheering you on from the stands, those same friends, worth every single second. Holding your teammate's hand after their dad just passed away and know that you are there for them, worth every single second. Getting blasted by your coach for a missed assignment and you think he hates you, worth every single second. And also, he doesn't. That same coach hugging you as you were the only thing that matters in the world after a big win, worth every single second. Every moment preparing, every moment working out, every moment wearing that jersey around school or town, every moment sweating, crying, celebrating, and loving your teammates, it was worth every single second. And young men, you went through every single emotion one goes through in a lifetime, and you had it all by the time you were 18 years old. And I say, thank you for playing the greatest sport the good Lord put on planet Earth. I know, and trust me, because for me, it was worth every single second. Don't let it define you if you don't go to the playoffs. Don't let it define you if you don't win a state championship. You gave everything you could for a bigger cause. And I'm telling you, boys, it was worth every single second. Thank you.
Well said, JoJo. Always enjoy, these chats and when you talk about this stuff, because I mean, look, we've talked about our connections with high school football and how much it means to all of us. I'll never forget, I never played, but I was a part of the team. And our senior year, when we did make the playoffs and we lost the game, it was at home, walking out with my senior classmates and walking that field one last time. They're turning the lights off, and it was funny because like you could see that they were ready to close up, but they saw us out there and we're like, we're gonna give these boys one last time, and it's just it's a bittersweet moment, but it's one of those moments that I'll never forget and you'll never forget, and a lot of these guys tonight will never forget. So I'm glad that we take the time to spotlight those guys because they deserve it. Because as you said, it was worth it.
Yo, and it
Yeah.
is, and look, and I get football's not for everybody. I totally get that. But for the ones who played, guys in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, it was just those moments that define us. And you look, and the emotions that we go through all that. I mean, my high school career came to an end on a Hail Mary versus NBA. I mean, we lost. I mean, so I didn't get an opportunity to go back down and win the game. And so that sticks with you. But at the same time, you find joy in the fact that, God, I mean, you got 40 or 50 or 60 brothers. And I tell people, when I went to McGavick, I didn't play with any black players. I didn't play with any white players. I just had teammates. And that's
Right.
how we saw each other. And I think football, for that, to a greater degree, really helps us understand our brothers. It does in so many ways. I mean, you got guys whose parents were loaded. You got guys who parents had no money, but we were all together. And that was the thing. And so that's why tonight, you're like, this is it. And you did a great job. You did a great ride. I understand it, but you gave so much more. And so your life will be so much better that you did play. That those that did play will understand the life lessons you learn by the time you move on. So that's kind of what I want to get out there.
Yeah. Well, and I'm glad you did. And that's what we do on this show. It's we kind of hit on some things that not everybody else is going to cover. But 615-737-1025, that's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Cam wants to weigh in on the Predators from last night. Cam, welcome in.
Hey guys. Number one, I grew up in North Alabama and I played high school ball. We had 3-a-days, and that was weightlifting in the morning, watching film at 12, and then practice in the afternoon. So 2-a-days. That sounds friendly. So a buddy of mine was at the game last night, and he texted me and said, I've had so many people walk up to me about my costume, and their kids are running away, like they're so afraid. What are you talking about? And he sent me a picture, and it was just him in regular street clothes. And I said, I don't even understand the concept. Like, what are you? And he said, I'm a winner. And they they all ran away from me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for that, Cam.
All right, Cam.
Is that a Titans fan or Preds? I mean, the jokes are there right now. Whatever, but you know what's interesting, and I do want to read this. And Justin had chimed in earlier about kind of being checked out as a Titans fan. Justin says, this is what I'm talking about. I know y'all aren't the flagship for the Titans radio, but every week someone shows up from the Predators organization, and I love that. Even though this team is up and down right now, you just feel better hearing from someone in charge. The Titans need to be doing that also. And yeah, I mean, look, we are the flagship for the Predators, but I mean, I've used these examples before. I mean, an 0-5 start, Barry Trotz went on with Jared. He did his weekly hit with him as the general manager. He answered the tough questions. He took accountability, responsibility for the way things were going. And I think that's what everybody's asking for. You may say that this time of year is for the coach. And that, I think, is the excuse that they want to use. But quite frankly, I want to hear from the people in charge of putting the team together. And that's why I've been so hard on Rand Carthon and Chad Brinker of be accountable, stand up there and talk, do a press conference, answer these questions, because you're not just answering them for those in the media, you're answering them for the fans. And so I applaud it's part of our partnership, but they could say, hey, nah, things aren't going well, we're not going to do this right now. Never once has that come up. So I think that shows you a lot. So just wanted to point that out.
As I said, get out there ahead of the message. Show that you care. I mean, I get it. You don't have to be out there. Nobody's forcing you out there, but sometimes talking is like, hey man, I'm with you. We're not happy. Just let people know, because the silence is truly deafening. I know that is something, but my goodness, just say something if you can. But I understand if you don't want to. I get it. You don't have to. You're not forced to. But at some point, you're going to have to, right? You're going to have to get up there and talk.
Wes in Hermitage wants to leave you with this. for what you were just talking about. If you're playing your last high school game tonight, remember 2 things: 1, have fun, and 2, no shotgun snaps from the 1.
Yes, thank you.
Joe, I know you got to head to the airport and go to El Paso with MTSU. So safe travels and
Thank you,
bring home
brother.
a win.
All right, man. We'll talk to you. Have a good show.
Absolutely. Coming up next, Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, going to join us. We'll probably talk a little high school football with him as well. It's Chasing Big Joe on this Friday, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Friday. Cruising right along, getting ready for another Titans weekend. I guess it'll be exciting. Who knows for sure. But to talk more about that, we say hello to our favorite. He is forever Titans wide receiver Chris Sanders, and he'll be a part of the pregame show on Sunday with Jared Stillman and Derek Mason. You can check them out at John Bon Jovi's downtown before the game, 9:30 to 11:30. Chris, how the heck are you? Good morning.
Man, I am doing pretty good. It's a little dreary outside, so I just want to go home and go to sleep.
Not even watch Judge Judy?
No, just no. Me and my wife been watching The Golden Bachelorette. We watched it last night, and when I tell you that it is the dumbest, silliest, goofiest show, but I tell you because I can't wait to see it next week. Show. Like
Okay. So it's like what starts at 2:00.
What's that?
It's like what starts at 2:00 on our station.
Oh yeah.
I'm kidding. I had to throw that out.
So how you doing, man? You doing all right?
I am doing fantastic. I just
Good,
I don't know
good,
what
good.
to think with this team right now. And you know,
Yeah.
I want to start with, like, I listened to you and Jared the other day, and it was spirited and it was great. And
It
it was
It was.
I thought you both made, really valid points. But
Sure.
I'm sure it's different for you looking at this
It is.
as a former player and as someone that kind of went through tough times with a team. That when you weren't playing to your potential, and then you see it, all come together and go to the Super Bowl
Yeah.
and things like that. So what are these guys feeling right now as they go through this 1-6 start?
You know it, Chase. It is tough, but being a former player, because I went through a couple of years where it was just the season were just bad. But here's the thing that we still had some great leadership and guys you can build around. In 1995 when I got drafted, we had Steve McNair and we had Rodney Thomas. But then the next year we go and get Eddie George. Then the year we go to the Super Bowl, we get Javon Curse and Samara Rose, and we get Kevin Dyson, all those guys in 1998. So those were pillars and those were guys you can build your team around. If you look at this team right now, who could you build your team around on offense? You could say Pollard, okay, but who can you build your team around on defense? You could say Simmons, but you still have question marks. And after that, where do you go from here? And I know it's tough. I know
Right.
Jared, I love Jared with all my heart, but you don't want to just start firing everybody, because when you start firing the GM and firing the coach, then now you got to start the whole culture stuff all over again. Then you got to start the whole identity stuff all over again. At least you have a little bit in place and start putting people in so you can build your franchise around.
Yeah, I think my thing, and I agree with you on that you can't, if you have one bad year, you can't fire everybody every year. But I do think there has to be more of a sense of accountability that I
Absolutely.
don't think we're getting
100%.
right. And
I mean,
I look at, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I look at the general manager, Rand Carthon. I look at Chad Brinker, and those two especially, because they've been here. And, I
Sure.
understand last year was different, and there was a, more of a collaboration. That was the word
Sure.
that they wanted to use, but they still were a part of it. And so now that,
Sure, I'm
they
really
made
right.
all these moves in the off season, and you kind of felt like, all right, here we go. And then you start 1-6. And then it's crickets. Like, you don't hear from them. I have a problem
Yeah.
with that. That's
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, get up there and be accountable.
I agree 100%, and I think that that's a great assessment that you made. I think too also is, we look in the off season and everybody wants Rand Carthon and Brinker to make a splash in free agency. So now you need a shutdown corner. You get a Woozy and you go get Snead. You want a big time receiver. You go get Calvin Ridley. So everybody's excited. Everybody's saying, okay, let Rand Carthon cook. But then all of a sudden, the guys that you bring in, your star players, are not playing like stars. You got a Woozier that's been hurt. We don't know what's going on with him. Then we have Calvin Ridley that finally gets 10 receptions, 143, and has the capability and the potential to make big plays. And then you have an offensive line situation to where, every year it's like you put on the same song. I mean, if you put on the same song, you're going to hear the same song. And the same song we've been hearing for the last couple of years is, who's going to be the right tackle? Who's going to be the tackle? Who's going to be that guy to protect the quarterback? So when you have a situation like that where we keep hearing the same thing over and over again, and then on top of that, your star players don't perform, is it the players or is it the coaches? So there's a thin line between love and hate.
Chris Sanders is here with us. And so now, what would be, if you're coaching these guys, or if the Titans call you up like, hey, Chris, can you come and just kind of motivate these guys, the guys
Yeah.
that are here the guys that are, have signed up for this, whether it's Mason Rudolph, Will Levis, or whoever, what would you say to them?
Here's what I'll do because we're in that situation now because I coach at Montgomery Beth Academy. I mean, we're 3-5 and 3-6 for now. So it all starts with leadership. So here's what I love about what we're doing over there is Coach Uberard, our head coach, he stood up and said this. He said, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to fight. So now if you have the coaching staff that's going to fight and that exudes to the players, they're going to come out and practice with motivation. They're going to come out and have a great attitude. They're going to come out and say, in spite of what my record looks like, we're going to go out and we're going to fight you tooth and nail. So if I'm going in there and I'm talking to the Titans, I'm going to look them square in the face and say this. You got two choices. Number one, to get better. And then on the flip side of that, I want to see the guys who buy in or trust. And if a guy buys in, that means he does it because he has to or I'm getting a paycheck. But if you have a guy that trusts in and say, you know what, I understand our record is 1-6. I understand we're not playing well, but I'm trusting in the process to get to where we can need to get. Because if you look at it in 1995, I had to trust the process because we were bad in 1995. 1996, we were okay. 1997, we went to Memphis. 1998, we went to Vanderbilt. So I know about trusting the process. Then all of a sudden in 1999, when we get in our stadium, we add a couple of pieces. The next thing you know, we go to the Super Bowl. So I will look each and every player in their eyes. Are you buying in? Are you trusting in? And you'll find out quickly with their body language.
You're also a coach, as you mentioned, at NBA.
Yes.
And, I think we can all agree Brian Callahan is going through some growing pains of being a rookie head coach. He's put together his first staff. I mean, I think that there's probably some evaluation that can be done there. But, if you kind of watch him, how difficult is it? And I feel like this is more of a newer trend, but for the guy to be the head coach, but also be the play caller, having never done it before, feel like that is something that we have seen him really, have to grow at.
See, Chase, that's the problem. The problem is you have so many responsibilities. I mean, when Jeff Fisher came in, even though he was a defensive guru and even though he was a defensive coach, he let his coaches coach. And instead of just, call the defense, now you have a situation with Brian Callahan, who's a head coach, and now he's got to call plays. He's got to wonder if it goes on fourth down. He's got to figure out if a guy's hurt, who to put in, who not to put in. All these things that you got to do. I just think that, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I'm not going to put that on him. I'm just going to focus on being the CEO of this football team. I'm going to focus on being the head coach and just focus on head coach duties. I don't want to be a play caller. I don't want to focus on, okay, it's a third down. What play I got to call? Is Levis hurt or Rudolph hurt? Can I get Calvin really ball? There's so many things. And then it's third and fourth down. You got to worry about his fourth down. Then you got a situation to where if a guy gets nicked up, then I got to figure out another guy to put in. So I would just focus on the game at hand as opposed to calling the game. And I think that he would be the better coach in that aspect.
Talking with Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver. You mentioned Calvin Ridley. We did see him get more involved last week. I mean, he had a big first half, and then the wheels fell off for the Titans. How do you replicate that this week and use it to your advantage against a team that I think you're going to match up with a lot better?
Yeah, and the thing about it, they're going to take away Calvin Ridley. I mean, if you got 15 targets, 10 catches for 153, they're going to put a safety over the top. So here's what I want to see with Calvin Ridley. You have 15 targets. Your confidence was running high. You had 10 catches, 143 yards. Now I want to see your body language if you don't get the ball early. Now I want to see your body language if they double team you and it's kind of frustrating at the point, because that's where real character comes in. Real character is not when you're catching 15 balls or 10 balls. Your real character is, okay, I'm not getting the ball. Am I still going to block the safety? Am I still going to have the same enthusiasm, or I'm just going to be excited catching the football? So, I want to see, has this guy matured into not just a player, but just the man that he's capable of being. So those are little things that I'm going to be watching, because I guarantee you the Patriots are not going to say, okay, I'm giving you 15 targets. I'm going to let you catch 10 balls for 143. No, they're going to put a safety over the top, take the best weapon off the field, and see what you can do. So I'm going to watch how he handles it, not getting the ball early.
So if that's the case, then I think you're going to look at somebody like Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, who I mean, that dude is just old. He's reliable. And I mean, I think everybody agrees he should be on this team for the foreseeable future, because he does what you ask him to do and then some.
Absolutely. But look at the people that they brought in to try to replace him. Julio Jones, the guy that went to Texas. I can't remember his name. Robert Woods. They try
Yeah.
to replace him every year. Kinsley, all those guys they try to bring in to try to replace him. But this is why I love NWI. What he does is he keeps his mouth closed and he keeps preparing. Look at what he's done so far. I think he has 7 catches, 3 touchdowns, and 3 first downs.
Yeah.
You can't ask for any more than that because every time he's called upon, every time you need a play, he's consistently making plays. If you ask him to block a safety, now this is what I love about this. You ask him to block a safety. You ask him to run down on punt return. You ask him to run on kickoff return. When you talk about a guy that's a true professional, you look at NWI because he doesn't complain. He does what you ask him, and he just demands to go out there and make plays.
He's a lunch pail guy. That's what he is.
He
goes to work.
is. He really, really is.
You need more players like that. Chris, you mentioned NBA, playing tonight, and Joe and I were talking about this in the last segment. He had to go travel with MTSU, but for a lot of kids in the mid-state, they're going to put the pads on, one last time. And you've been lucky enough coaching at NBA and have had a lot of success. But it's a bittersweet day because you go through all the practices and the meetings and the bus trips and the hot summer days when everybody's at the pool or whatever. But I think you're going to agree with me and Joe when he says all of that was worth it because of the journey that these young men have gone on, and for some it ends tonight.
You know what the hardest part about coaching is this day, especially when a team is not going to the playoffs. We're going to the playoffs. But when you have a situation, I've been on teams when I coached at Christ Presbyterian in some different places, is to watch the seniors after the game is over. They don't want to take their uniform off. They got tears in their eyes. They're sitting in their locker with their helmet on. They're sitting with their mouth guard in while they're sitting in their lockers. And when you see the seniors crying, when you see them hugging, and they stay in the locker room till 1 and 2 in the morning because they understand that this is it. And this is the last hoorah. There's no more bus rides. There's no more two-a-day. There's no more throwing up on the field. There's no more of that. And that's the hard part of a coach because you're like, okay, what do you say? Because now your career's done. Now it's over. It's no more, coaches yelling at you, telling you get out the spot or look at cover 2 or cover 3. And that's the bittersweet part about it because, they're going on to do great things. But the sad part about it is they have to hang up the cleats forever. And that's what the hard part about coaching is. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Well, good luck tonight, Chris. And we'll be listening on Sunday as you guys do the pregame show. Always enjoy the chats with you, my friend.
Man, I always appreciate it. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the program as he does every Friday at 10 o'clock. Coming up next, we'll kind of look ahead. Again, the injury report is very long. Who's going to play, who's not. We'll speculate on that. But I do think, to look at some positives, this is a good matchup for the Titans because both of these teams have struggled. And so maybe this is the week that the Titans can turn some things around. We will talk about that coming up next. This week's Nashville's best deal is Teddy's Tavern. Teddy's Tavern is your go-to spot for great food, cold drinks, and live music right in the heart of downtown. Get half off a $100 gift card now for Teddy's Tavern at thegamenashville.com/deals while supplies last.
When you look at the Patriots, you see some similarities what they're doing there and what you're kind of going through here.
Yeah, they're a team that's, proud organization too, and they're fighting to try to make some wins happen for themselves. And again, they're tough. They're still everything about them on their defense, their DNA is New England. It looks and feels the same. And then they've been physical running the football. So it's a team that is also hungry. They want wins too. They're fighting just like we are to put themselves in position. So. Again, the records are what they are, but we got two teams that are desperate and fighting for some wins because, we want to get that feeling of winning football games back.
It was Brian Callahan yesterday speaking to the media, talking about the matchup against the New England Patriots. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 the game. Big Joe has headed to the airport. He's flying with MTSU to El Paso. They'll take on UTEP coming up this week. You can hear that tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock with kickoff at 2:30 on 93.3 Totally Hits, Totally Nashville. And the MTSU coverage on 93.3 FM is presented by Sloan's Motorcycle ATV. But, I hear that clip and it's funny. Like, I will say with Brian Callahan, I do appreciate his candor. I do appreciate, how open he is on certain things. And I liked that clip there because, there's so many times, when a bad football team is coming to town and look, the Titans and the Patriots are not good football teams. I think anybody that has paid attention can see that, but a lot of times the coach will get there and be like, oh, they're a good team. They're a good team. Their record, but he said the right things. He said they're fighting, they're fighting just like we are, they want to get some wins just like we do. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, there might be some guys on either team that have checked out and packed it in. But I do know, I know how this works. There are guys that are like, hey, season's not over. We're going to keep fighting and get as many wins, and get as many wins as we possibly can moving forward. And, I think that's what both teams are certainly going to do. And, Dr. Crane, I look at this matchup against the Patriots compared to what they've had the last 2 weeks with the Bills and the Lions. And I'm not going to say this is a should win, but it is a can win. And it is a game that I think the Titans are capable and, maybe doing something a little more on offense and coming out with a win on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the injury report, and you and Joe mentioned it in the last hour, but if Tony Pollard's on the injury report and he's like not practicing, along with Tajay Spears on it one day and then not on it the other day, this team is just, if they can, I guess, recoup from all these injuries and have a solid run game, because that's what you got to do in situations like this when you're going up against bad teams in the NFL, is if you establish a solid run game, that kind of goes for any game, but especially in games like these with a team that's 2-6 like the Patriots, like you have to establish the run game and then the passing game will develop. And I just feel like the Titans have lost their identity with that. And I feel like you can find your identity again in games like these because there's nothing really on the line. I mean, there's really not a playoff implication on the line. It's just basically getting back to the basic fundamentals of football. And if you can get back to that, you could honestly turn some form of culture around or some sort of spark to the rest of the roster saying, hey, we actually have something here. You guys can actually realize that we could do something, maybe not this year, but next year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and you used the key word there, culture. And, Chris was talking about leadership, that they had leadership. That is the big thing that I think the Titans are missing. Now, I'm not saying there are guys that are not capable of beating leaders. I think there are. I think there are some guys that have kind of been put in a leadership role that's not really their style, that, they lead in a different way. And so I do think the biggest challenge for Brian Callahan is to develop culture and leadership. And, I don't think that task is going to be completed this year. I think it's going to take some time, to get that done. But that is the biggest thing to me that they're missing, is they don't have, the guys like Chris was talking about, Steve McNair and Eddie George, later on Javon Curse, Kevin Dyson. They don't have that core culture built yet. And that's got to be the big thing that they're going to have, if they want to be successful moving forward.
Yeah. And realize when you mentioned that as well about Chris, all those players, it happened throughout multiple years. It organically happened as leaders progressed. Whereas for the Titans, and this is something I loved about the Mike Vrabel era, was that he didn't have any captains on the jersey, didn't have those captain patches. So you're kind of, it's a full team effort. Everybody's really a captain. We all lead as one. Well, whereas for the Titans in this new era with Brian Callahan and Rand Carthon, it was like more of, we got to move on from this Mike Vrabel era. And they decided to bring back the patches, bring back the captaincy. And it just didn't feel, I mentioned it before, hasn't felt organic. And especially putting Will Levis in a tough position being a captain, it just did not feel organic. And so I just feel like you have one or two guys, maybe like a Lloyd Cushenberry, or, I mean, recently Calvin Ridley's been playing well on the field and he's kind of developed into some form of a leader. So maybe that is something organically that's happening, but it's going to take some time for sure.
It will, but we'll see what happens this weekend. And then there's a lot of fans. You can weigh in 615-737-1025. That is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. That are checked out, that are like, look, just get me to the off season. That's kind of where we're at. They're tired of this. I do think that this is where the Titans, the front office, Amy Adams Strunk, they have to get better, and they have to, have some of that accountability where, if you want to wait to the trade deadline, fine, but we need to hear from the people responsible for putting this team together. And, I mentioned it earlier that, and yes, we are partners with the Preds. We're the flagship of the Preds, but things haven't exactly gone the way that they planned this year, have they? No. I mean, I think they didn't plan for an 0-5 start. It's been up and down. They're obviously hoping that's going to turn around, but nobody shied away from it. Sean Henry's been on these airwaves. Barry Trotz has been on these airwaves. Andrew Brunette. They do that. And look, I'm sure there were some times in that 0-5 where players or coaches or whatever, like, man, I'd rather be doing anything but this. But guess what? They're accountable and they do it. And that's what I'm asking for. And I'm not saying, Rand Carthon needs to come on this show. I'd love to have him. He's welcome anytime. But I'm saying, get up there, do a press conference. Do more than just a Q&A in the paper. Like a 5-question Q&A after a loss. Okay, great. You did that. But I'm looking for more than that. Answer some of these questions from the general media. Be accountable. It is all about accountability. I have written on my desk, on my computer monitor at work, this is be accountable, because that's what I try to do every day, is be accountable for my actions and for, what we're doing here. And I think that that's just something that's really important to me and to a lot of you out there, that you want to hear from the decision makers and hold them accountable for what they're doing. So, we'll see, but hopefully they can turn some things around this weekend with the matchup against the Patriots. We will find out for sure. Coming up next, Adam Vingan's going to jump in a little early. He's going to hang out with me, with Joe, headed to El Paso. So we'll talk some Pride, some Titans, some different things with Adam. We'll do that coming up next. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tomorrow at 2:30 for our college football game of the week. It is the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, Florida and Georgia, presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft and wall-to-wall sports. More coming next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Friday. DVD coming up at the top of the hour. But I know Adam Bingen has been nice enough to come in a little early and hang out. Adam, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I obviously went to the Predators game. We'll get to that in a minute last night, but I did take some time to watch some Simpsons Treehouse of Horror and some classics for sure.
Absolutely. How could you not?
Yeah. I mean, Halloween is the perfect day for that. But I want to start with the Titans with you. What's funny that, and I don't know if, you've kind of gotten this vibe with your show this week, but, people still want to talk about them, but it's like, I feel like so many members of the fan base are just checked out and just like apathy has truly set in. They don't know the direction this team's going. Nobody wants to talk about it from other than Brian Callahan. And they're just kind of like, whatever at this point. Are you getting that vibe?
It's a good question. And I asked this question to our listeners yesterday, and I think we might get back into it again today about what are you rooting for the rest of the season? Are you cheering for the Titans? Are you cheering against the Titans? I've heard Jared say, and we know that Jared is an unabashed Titans fan, that he wants the Titans to lose every game for the rest of the season to improve their draft position, as well as give Amy Adams Strunk no choice but to fire Rand Carthon and Chad Brinker. And we did get some interesting answers. One texter said that he's cheering for a Jordan Love-like second half of the season for Will Levis, referencing, I believe it was Jordan Love's second half last season, where he proved that he could be a starting NFL quarterback. And hey, if they lose games, that's fine. But if Will Levis can show some promise in the second half of the season, that would be great. So I do think it's interesting. I am not one of those people that will reprimand sports fans if they want their team to lose. If you are a Titans fan and you want the Titans to lose because it'll improve their draft position, go for it. I've got no issue with that. We actually had one texter the other day say that of all of the games that the Titans cannot win for the rest of the season, the game against the Patriots, they cannot win because they're battling with the Patriots to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. So it is interesting because when a team is down bad like the Titans are, people want blood. They want someone to pay for what has been going on with the team. I think there were many people who assumed that Brian Callahan would open the week on Monday by announcing that he had fired Colt Anderson. And that did not happen. We heard Colt Anderson yesterday. It did not go well for Colt Anderson in his news conference yesterday, and we'll get into that on our show as well. But I did actually get a kick out of this. So one of my favorite websites, I don't know if you're familiar with this website, Chase, it's called 506sports.com. It's this website. No. It's this website that tracks it has a map of the United States and it's color coded. So it'll tell you what games you're getting on Fox and CBS in your viewing area.
Oh, cool.
So Ben Volen, who I believe covers the Patriots for the Boston Globe, he's the senior NFL writer at the Boston Globe. He took the screenshot of the Fox early game for Sunday and said Fox is sparing most of the country from having to watch Patriots Titans. And the only it's marked in green, and the only areas that are getting that game are the Middle Tennessee viewing area and New England. Those are the only two regions of the country that are getting this game. For example, the majority of the country is getting Cowboys at Falcons. But check it out yourself on 506sports.com. Very few people are going to have to sit through this game. But to answer your question, Chase, I get it. I get that Titans fans are pissed about what's been going on with this team. They felt that they were sold a false bill of goods by ownership and the front office. They expected to be competitive. They spent a ton of money in free agency, and this team is nowhere near competitive. So I totally understand why Titans fans are upset, but I do think it'll be interesting as this season progresses because we have 10 more games of this. And if it doesn't go well, the heat's going to be turned up even more. So if you're a Titans fan out there and you're rooting against the Titans, I don't begrudge you. I am not going to give you a slap on the wrist if you want the Titans to lose, because fandom is a funny thing. It's something that we all go about in our different ways. But if you are cheering against the Titans for the rest of the season, I mean, I guess it's better than not paying attention at all.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about looking at this map, that Memphis has elected to get the Cowboys at the Falcons and not the Titans game. They don't. They're like, yeah, no, we're done with.
I'm
that's
not. Yeah, I'm
Nashville's
not
team.
sure how it's. I'm not sure how it's You know, I know. Obviously, like, you will get your local team if that local team is playing, but I don't know how Fox or CBS goes about it. But yes, 4/5 of the country is red because it's going to get Cowboys at Falcons. Check it out at Ben Volin, VOLIN, on Twitter if you want to see this map. It's quite hilarious.
Yeah, no, this is very cool. Adam Vingan hanging out with us on the Chasing Big Joe show. So, one thing that we got a text earlier about this, and this, you've been involved with us for a long time, and now a member of the family with DVD, that we are the flagship of the Nashville Predators. We have a partnership with them. It's a very, very good one, and as a part of that, we get to talk to the coach every week. We talk to the GM every week. Sean Henry makes regular appearances. Michelle Kennedy makes regular appearances. And that has pretty much been the case since the beginning. It doesn't matter if things are going well, if things are going bad. David Poyle was always great. He would make, his appearance. Barry Trotz has done the same thing, both as a coach and now as the general manager. And so a listener pointed that out of, that's accountability. They're always willing to talk about what's going on no matter what. Whereas it's not the same with the Titans. I know Brian Callahan is, because he's a head coach, and this is kind of his time of year. But at the same time, I want to hear, and I know you guys have talked about this, I want to hear from Rand Carthon. I want to hear from Chad Brinker. I want to hear from the people. I want to hear from Amy Adams Strunk. I know she's not going to do it, but I want to hear from the people responsible for putting this whole thing together, because I just don't feel like there's enough accountability coming out of that building.
I would agree. And one thing we have discussed on our show, and you've discussed it as well with Big Joe, and I think Jarrett's discussed it, and I think Robbie and Joe have discussed it. I think the messaging from the Titans throughout this entire process, starting with the firing of Mike Vrabel, I just feel like it has been poor. I don't think they've done a good job of giving fans reasonable expectations for this team. And one thing that we are going to do on DVD today is we're going to look back at something that Amy Adams Strunk said over the past year and the messaging that she gave to Titans fans, and look at how maybe she could have done it differently. Should she have said something else? And that's an exercise we're going to do in the first hour of our show. But I agree. You mentioned the Predators. Barry Trotz is on with Jared every week. I mean, Jared had him on, Barry Trotz on, when they were 0-5, when they were 0-5. And Barry answered all of the questions. He was honest. He was forthcoming. And we've all said this many times, that the way that Barry Trotz explained how last season was going to go, or how he thought it was going to go at the beginning of the season, when the Predators started, 5-10? I don't think Predators fans were all that upset about it, because Barry Trotz said, this might be a bit of a rough season. Be patient with us, stick with us. It worked out better than really anybody expected. They had that great run in the middle of the season. They made the playoffs, which very few people expected them to do. But the fact that Barry Trotz was upfront about what his expectations were for the team helped the team tremendously in terms of warding off fans that we're seeing with the Titans right now, who want to take pitchforks to St. Thomas Sports Park. And the NFL, Derek and I went over this last week. I believe general managers are only required to speak twice during the NFL season. They're required to speak in a period of time, I think, between the scouting combine and the first round of the NFL draft, and then at the end of training camp when the 53-man roster is finalized. I believe those are the only two times a general manager in the NFL is mandated to speak to reporters. Now, other general managers do more than that. But I think Ran Carthon, I think his heart was in the right place when he spoke to Nick Suss of the Tennessean and tried to get some words out there. Here's the issue.
Sure.
There's no audio of this, so his tone of voice is not apparent in the story. So that's something that gets lost in translation. And I don't think the quotes were very flattering. I don't think he did a great job of answering the questions as they were presented by Nick Suss in the article. So I do think it is imperative for Ran Carthon and or Chad Brinker at some point to get in front of cameras and have people hear what they have to say. So, I mean, you may not like the answers and they may talk
Sure.
around the issues, but it's a step in the right direction to answer questions because, as we've talked about quite a bit, our jobs as reporters and radio hosts, we are conduits. We ask the questions to the people you want to hear from, and we bring those answers to you. They're not answering these questions for us. They're answering these questions for you. We are just the ones asking the questions. So I do think Ran Carthon and Chad Brinker, the longer they stay silent, the worse it's going to get.
I 100% agree with you on that. He is Adam Vingan. DVD is coming up in about 15 minutes. But coming up next, Adam's going to help us out with what day is it and celebrity birthdays here on this Friday. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Friday. Always enjoy a Friday show. The weekend is here. Adam Vingan is hanging out with me as Big Joe is headed to El Paso. DVD coming up in about 10 minutes. But Adam, I know you're excited to be a part of this. It's our favorite. What day is it? And celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have All Saints Day. Next is Diwali. So I remember hearing that from The Office, a good celebration of that. Let's see, Extra Mile Day. So go the extra mile. Fountain Pen Day. Ooh, a good fountain pen's always good to have in your back pocket. Let's see, give up your shoulder. What? Okay. Shoulder?
Give up your what?
Shoulder? Shoulds? I don't know. And something like that. Let's see. International Scented Candle Day. Love me a good bacon glaze candle. Love Your Lawyer Day. All right. That's something not.
Can you imagine a world without lawyers, Chase?
That's a Simpsons reference.
Yes.
National Authors Day is next. We also National Balsamic Vinegar and Modena Day. Love me some good balsamic vinegar.
That sounds right up Nick's alley.
Me too.
Right. Drizzle it on top. Unbelievable. Let's see. National Biological Coordinators Day. National Brush Day. Let's see. National Calzone Day.
I love a calzone.
Yeah.
Love calzone.
Me too.
Let's see. National Cinnamon Day. Ooh, cinnamon rolls sound pretty good.
Cinnamon is good too.
You ever had a cinnamon roll pancake?
I have not, but that sounds
I actually
delicious.
have.
They're incredible. They are incredible. Let's see. National Deep Fried Clams Day. Probably something I should try. National Family Literacy Day. National Go Cook for Your Pets Day. All right.
Okay.
National Jersey Friday. Let's see. National Medical Science Liaison Awareness and Appreciation Day.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
That's the big one.
National Pad Thai Day. National Vinegar Day. And let's see. The last two on the list. World Vegan Day and Prime Meridian Day.
All right. So I am taking over for Big Joe today. So it will be Chase versus Nick as usual. And I don't think there is a better person to choose for the first celebrity birthday. WWE superstar and United States champion, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Chase, how old is L.A. Knight today?
41.
43.
That's a push. He's 42.
Dang.
Retired baseball player, Coco Crisp. Love that cereal. Coco Crisp. How old is Coco today?
40.
48.
He is 45. Still nothing.
Oh.
Miami Heat coach Eric Spoelstra. How old is Eric Spoelstra today?
58.
53.
He is 53 exactly.
Wow. Good job.
2-0 Frazier. All right. Singer Lyle Lovett. How old is Lyle today?
76.
69.
He is 67.
Dr. Crane.
3-0 Nick. Speaking of singers, Anthony Kiedis, the frontman for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. How old is Anthony Kiedis today?
61.
60.
He is 62. So Chase is on the board. It is still 3-1 Nick. I have four more. Actress and 90s sex symbol, Jenny McCarthy. How old is Jenny McCarthy today? Shout out to Singled Out. That was a great show on MTV. How old is Jenny McCarthy today?
I'm going to say she's 49.
53.
She is 52.
Good job, Dr. Crane.
Frazier's up 4-1. 3 more to go. Apple CEO Tim Cook. How old is Tim Cook today?
I'm going to say he is 60.
62.
He is 64. Nick Frazier up 5-1 today, Chase. 2 more. You can get back in this. Actor Penn Badgley of what's the show? Gossip Girl fame. How old is Penn Badgley today?
I'm gonna say 38.
57.
Okay. I was about to call you Keezer. I should call you Keezer because of how off you are. He is 38 years old. Chase is on the board. It is 5-3. Chase, you have the opportunity to tie the game here. And if you do, I'll come up with one more. But the final one for today, American Idol runner-up, Bo Bice, who I believe was runner-up to Carrie Underwood at American Idol. How old is Bo Bice today?
I'm gonna say 45.
46.
He is 49.
Mm.
Frazier wins 5-3 today.
Congratulations, Dr. Crane. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you very much.
You guys were right on there. I thought Chase would nail LA Knight. You guys were both
I
1
thought
year off,
I was off by a year.
as was Frazier.
Sometimes the price is right. Tactic works. Sometimes it doesn't.
With everybody singing.
But Frazier,
Yeah.
congratulations. You go into the weekend a big winner, a 5-3 win in celebrity birthdays for Frazier today.
Might be the first one since the 4th of July. This is incredible.
That
It's
can't
been
be
a minute,
true.
but I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I am very proud of you. Adam, thanks for coming in a little early. I know you got 3 great hours ahead with DVD, D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick coming up next. That is going to do it for Chasing Big Joe for this week. To our high school football players suiting up tonight, if it is your last night, enjoy every moment. Take in everything. You've earned it, and that journey has been worth it for you. And guys, we made it to the end of the week. You know, if you are struggling out there, 988 on your cell phone, you can call it, you can text it, you can talk to somebody. We all go through those moments where you need a little help, and mental health is so important these days. But we want you here. We love you. We're here to talk to you as well, me or Joe, Dr. Crane, whoever. We want you to be around for sure. Stick around. DVD coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.